Blocks are great for placing symbols rapidly in drawings, as well as updating them instantly. There's something else blocks can do. They can have data attached to them, like a model number, price, or who the desk belongs to. Double-click the block to open it in the block editor. Up on the ribbon, notice that there is the Create Attribute button. When you click it, you're faced with this attribute definition dialog box that lets you specify what the attribute will look like. Tag, the prompt, and the default are really the only things you need to know about the attribute. The tag is how NanoCAD identifies the attribute, so we will call it price. The prompt is presented to the user and tells them what kind of data to enter. I'll type in, and then finally there's a default value. I like to put in something that reminds the user of the format they should use for the data. Now there are options over here called modes. Invisible means that the attribute won't be visible. Constant means it has a constant value, and so when you turn that option on, the prompt is no longer there and the default value is the one that's always displayed. Verify means that the user will be asked to confirm the value that they enter. Preset means that the block will automatically enter in the default value without the user having to do anything. Lock position means that the attribute text will always be in the same location in the block and cannot be moved. And then multiple lines allows you to have more than one line for a single attribute. By default, it's a single line to a maximum of 255 characters. So we've set up the definition of the attribute. Let's now place it. Click OK. The attribute is placed there. This is the attribute definition, not the attribute value. Sometimes it can be a bit tricky to distinguish between the two. Let's close the block editor. Answer yes. The attribute is not yet visible. Attributes are not yet visible in the block because so far we've created just the definition. We have not yet entered the data. To do so, come over here to the Insert tab and then click Manage Attributes. You can see that the default value is 0. Click the Edit button and then enter a value like $100. Click OK. To apply this to all the blocks in the drawing, click the Sync button. Instantly you notice that something appears on each block. Click OK. And then zoom in and we can see that the $100 attribute is now visible on each desk. Those are the steps you take to add an attribute at its value to an existing block in the drawing. When you add a new block in the drawing, a prompt will come up asking you for the price of the desk. Enter in a value and then click OK. To edit the value of a single block, independent of all the other blocks with the same name, enter the command that has the rather unusual name of attipedit. The IP is short for in place. Choose the attribute and then change the value, such as $90. Press enter and you're done. Notice that the value only of the one block is updated. If you would like to freeze the value of an attribute so that it is no longer considered an attribute, then you can use the burst command. Enter in burst, select the attribute, press enter, and now when you pause your cursor over it, NanoCAD tells you that it's text and it's no longer an attribute. Another useful task is to turn off the display of attributes when they get in the way. To do that, click on the small arrow next to block, choose the next small arrow next to attributes, and then choose off. Follow this with the regen command. The attributes disappear. The sole remaining so-called attribute, remember, is text, and so it's unaffected by the display toggling. Turn it back on, go back there and choose Attributes On. Remember the regen command to return the display of attributes. The whole point to attributes is to be able to extract the data out of the drawing and put it into a program like a spreadsheet where the data can be manipulated further. To do this, use the Attribute Extraction command. The dialog box provides you with 3 different formats for outputting the data. Comma delimited just means that there will be a comma between fields. Space means there's spaces. And DXF means it's a format that's useful for other programs to read. First thing you need to do is select the objects. Click the button, and I just enter in all and press enter twice, and that selects everything in the drawing. NanoCAD will automatically filter out objects that aren't blocks, such as the walls. Next, it asks for a template file. This tells NanoCAD what it is you want to output and how to format it. Here is the content of a typical template file. So this is the name of the attribute. I'm specifying that it is a number, and then I'm providing 8 spaces for the values. So I save the file and then click this button to select it. So there's the template, open it, and finally you can specify where to place the output file. I like to put it in the desktop, that way it's easier to find. Click OK, and in a split second the data has been output. Open up a spreadsheet such as LibreOffice Calc, bring in the data file. Choose the data file, click Open, and then it prompts you how you want to bring it in. Click OK, and there's the numbers there. Well, now that it's in a spreadsheet, you can work with the numbers. For example, total, summation, and then you can format it, such as putting in a currency.